Hey everyone, welcome back to Ragtag Stacking. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about a certain state that is looking to pick up physical silver and gold. A bill was introduced looking to allocate some of the state funds that they manage into some of the physical precious metals to help hedge against inflation for the taxpayers. Now, I have talked about different states and taxes and precious metals lately because a lot of them have been recently looking to eliminate any additional taxes on physical silver and gold. I briefly saw it last year. I think it was Arkansas did it, becoming the 41st state. But then once 2022 rolled around into January, there's a bunch of other states doing it. I remember doing a video because 3 articles in a row popped up talking about 3 different states. And then once I posted that video, the next day, like 5 other states were talking about it. But even with all of that, all of the states looking to get into it, the 2 states that I haven't heard a peep from and I haven't seen mentioned in one article is California and New York. And judging by the comments that I see in the some of the videos, it's a pretty big threshold that people that live in those 2 states have to meet. And if you don't, they're paying something crazy like an extra 8% additional taxes tacked on to their precious metals if they don't get past something. It was like $1,500, I think. But yes, the state in question today is Idaho, and I don't know too much about Idaho. When I think of it, I think of blue football turf, potatoes as well, I guess. But I live in Canada. I live up in Toronto, so I am familiar with a lot of the state. But for me, growing up, I went down to New York State a bunch, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, even into Indiana and Illinois. We ended up driving. We've flown to Wisconsin and things like that. A lot of the times it was for hockey and lacrosse when I was a kid, but just jumping over the border down into Niagara Falls or Buffalo for the weekend to shop is something we regularly did. Yeah, unfortunately, as far as Idaho, it's just not really a state that I come across in the news or come across an article talking about them where I am. So as I said, I don't know too much about them, except for, I'm a pretty big fan of Boise State because as a kid, loved that blue football turf. But anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump onto the computer and go over this article talking about Idaho and the bill that they were proposing to allow them to pick up some physical gold and silver. All right, so this is the article here on moneymetals.com, and it is Idaho House votes for potential gold and silver allocation to hedge state funds. It says going down here, it says the Idaho State House overwhelmingly approved a bill which enables the state treasurer to protect states' reserve funds from inflation and financial risk by holding physical gold and silver. So I'm just going to skip over a little bit that's going over the specific bill and the representative Ron Nate. He's the one who introduced it to the state. As speaking on the House floor, Representative Nate noted Idaho's current investments are comprised entirely of debt instruments with a negative real yield, plus they have a default risk. That's risk without reward. We need to give our treasurer another tool in the toolbox, the option to hold gold and silver to protect taxpayer funds. See, as this term idle monies keeps coming up, it's the funds that are there, and they're saying, where is it here? It says the state treasurer's office today has upwards of $10 billion in assets under management, the value of which is rapidly bleeding away through negative real interest rates. That's because the state reserves are principally invested in low-interest debt paper, U.S. Treasury money markets, corporate debt, repurchase agreements, and other dollar-denominated debt. So they're kind of going off of what some other states have done recently. It says, responding to growing concerns about rising government debts and Federal Reserve money printing, Ohio recently followed Texas in acquiring a 5% physical gold holding in its public pension funds. Oklahoma is among other states currently considering bills like HB 522. And this is a big one here in this next paragraph because they're talking about inflation, and it's at 7%, or at least 7%, and you can see just how much that is affecting the $10 billion that they said that they have under management here. It says inflation has reached every Idaho home to the tune of at least 7%, which means that the real annual rate of return for Idaho taxpayers on its 10 billion in idle monies is deeply negative, perhaps greater than 500 million. So like they said, it was bleeding away, that 10 million just sitting there. It's just losing its value, its purchasing power. So that's why they are looking to get some of it, not all of it obviously, but they do want to allocate some of their assets that they have under management. As I said, it's that 10 billion mark. They do want to allocate some of that to gold and silver. And it says an allocation to physical gold and silver fits squarely within the objective of protecting Idaho taxpayer funds against financial risks, and the monetary metals would logically be included in a list of safe investment options. Gold and silver can provide a hedge against inflation, debt default risks, and stock market decline, and have historically boosted investment returns while also reducing volatility. So it's a pretty quick article to go through. I did kind of skim over a little bit at the beginning there. That was just going over some of the specifics of the bill. And we have been seeing a lot of this lately, or at least in 2022, I have seen a lot of these pop up. I remember back in 2021, there was one state, I believe it was Arkansas, became like the 41st state to eliminate taxes on the purchase of gold and silver. But then all of a sudden, once the calendar rolled over into 2022 in January, every other day I just kept seeing more and more states that were looking to follow suit. But yeah, as always, I will leave a link in the description to this article. Like I said, I did read through the majority of it, but if you want to go through it on your own at your leisure and read through it, the link will be available in the description. So there you go. There you have it. That was the article that I wanted to talk about. And recently we've been seeing a lot of the world's central banks really going heavy and loading up on gold. Haven't seen too much talk about them going for silver. It's primarily been gold when talking about different countries' central banks. But with this one, Idaho is looking for both the silver and gold to pick up for that hedge. And like it said in the article, there were some examples of some states that do have something like this. It said that Texas does have a 5% allocation for it. And I believe it was Ohio was looking to follow in Texas's footsteps. So this is something that has been proposed before. And it looks like Idaho is going to be a state that's looking to do it next. And you did see when they showed how much of that 10 billion is kind of just flushed down the toilet when you factor in the inflation that is eating away at it. So it would help out somewhat, if you were able to get a little bit of that into the physical precious metals to help against that inflation that is slowly eating away at the state funds. But let me know what you guys think. I haven't really heard too many people from Idaho in the comments. The closest is Wyoming. Go Josh Allen. But yeah, I haven't really heard too many people talk about Idaho in the comments. But if you are from there, let me know what you think. Let me know if this is a good idea and you're hoping that this bill passes so they can go ahead and do this. But yeah, I'd like to hear from you guys on what you guys think about this situation. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thank you.